Somewhere in the middle of the ocean, 100 miles from the nearest land, sits a machine so expensive it makes a skyscraper look cheap. It costs up to $1 billion to build. It burns through $1 million a day just to operate. And a single one of these things can pull $30 million worth of oil out of the seabed before breakfast. It's the most extreme, most dangerous, and most profitable machine humans have ever parked in the sea. And by the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how an offshore oil rig makes and loses staggering amounts of money, why oil companies happily set fire to $1 million a day, and what it would actually take for you to own one. Let's break down the economics of owning an offshore oil rig. First, understand that you're not buying a rig. You're buying one of several completely different machines, separated by a terrifying range of prices. At the shallow end, there's the jackup rig. It has giant legs that lower down and physically stand on the seabed in shallow water. A basic one starts around $20 million. Then, there are the floaters, the rigs that don't touch the bottom at all. Semi-submersibles float on massive submerged pontoons, anchored in place. And at the very top sits the drill ship, a full ocean-going vessel with a drilling tower punched through its middle, capable of working in water 2 miles deep. These are the crown jewels, and building one can cost anywhere from $600 million to over $1.5 billion. And here's the first thing nobody tells you. These machines take 2 to 5 years to build. You can't just order one and pick it up. Each one is a custom-engineered monster of high-strength steel, designed to survive hurricanes, 40-foot waves, and the crushing pressure of the deep ocean, all while doing the single most dangerous industrial job on Earth. So let's say you've got your billion-dollar drill ship. Now comes the part that breaks people's brains. Nobody who owns these rigs actually drills for their own oil. Instead, they rent the rig out by the day. And the price they charge is called the day rate. For a basic jackup, the day rate runs around $100,000 to $130,000 a day. But for a high-end drill ship working in deep water, the day rate can hit $400,000, $500,000, even $800,000 per day. Let that sink in. Renting one of these machines can cost more per day than most people's houses cost in total. And the oil companies pay it, gladly, because the prize at the bottom is worth so much more. Now, where does all that money actually go? Because owning the rig is only the beginning. The day rate has to cover a crew of up to 200 people living on that platform for weeks at a time, eating, sleeping, and working in the middle of the ocean. It has to cover fuel, which alone can run into the tens of thousands of dollars a day. It covers helicopters ferrying workers back and forth, supply ships, insurance against catastrophe, and constant maintenance, because salt water and steel are mortal enemies. Add it all up, and the true cost of running a deepwater rig can easily exceed $1 million a single day. So why would anyone set fire to $1 million a day? Because of what's waiting at the bottom. A single productive offshore well can pump tens of thousands of barrels of oil per day. At current prices, one good well can generate revenue in the range of tens of millions of dollars per day at peak production. Suddenly, that $1 million daily cost doesn't look so insane. It looks like the best trade in the world. You spend $1 million to make $30 million. That is the entire seductive math of offshore oil. But here is where the dream turns into a nightmare, because this business has a failure mode unlike any other on Earth. First, there's the dry hole. You can spend $100 million drilling a single exploratory well, months of work, thousands of people, and hit nothing. No oil, just very expensive salt water. And you eat the entire loss. Second, there's the oil price itself. You have no control over it. The rig costs the same to run whether oil is at $100 a barrel or $30. When prices crash, as they did in 2020, rigs that were minting money one month are suddenly losing it the next. Day rates collapse. Rigs get stacked, parked in harbors, earning nothing while still costing a fortune to maintain. During bad years, brand new billion-dollar rigs have been sold for scrap at pennies on the dollar. And third, there's catastrophe. This is the business where a single accident doesn't just cost money, it can end your entire company. In 2010, the Deepwater Horizon rig exploded in the Gulf of Mexico. 11 workers died. The blowout released millions of barrels of oil into the ocean. The total cost to the company responsible eventually exceeded $60 billion. $60 billion from a single rig on a single day. No other business on Earth carries that kind of instant, unlimited downside. So step back and look at the paradox. An offshore rig has the highest revenue potential of almost any machine ever built. One good field can create a fortune that lasts generations. And yet, the same machine can bankrupt you 3 different ways. It can find nothing, the market can turn against you overnight, or it can blow up and take your entire company with it. The oil is guaranteed to be valuable. Everything else is a gamble. So let's answer the real question. If you actually did this, how much would you make? Let's say you buy one high-end drill ship for $1 billion. You contract it out at an average day rate of $400,000. Over a year of solid work, that's around $140 million in revenue. After crew, fuel, maintenance, and insurance, you might clear $50 to $70 million in profit in a good year. Which means your billion-dollar machine pays for itself in roughly 15 years, assuming nothing goes wrong. And in this business, something always goes wrong. But when it works, it really works. The largest offshore oil companies on Earth generate tens of billions of dollars a year. Entire nations, from Saudi Arabia to Norway, built their modern wealth on machines exactly like this, standing alone in the sea, quietly turning salt water and steel into some of the largest fortunes in human history. So if you still want to own an offshore oil rig, just remember the one rule this business runs on. The ocean does not care how much money you spent. It will hand you a fortune or it will swallow it whole, and you never get to choose which.